But I'd have players like that in my team because they're match winners. And for me, Norwich hadn't had enough of them.
Yeah. You mentioned the Southampton game. Here's a useless stat for all of you. We've got Ken, who's a Norwich fan, who's joining us from the USA. First manager to take charge of successive Premier League games against the same opponent with different teams.
Wonder if that means anything.
Ken, look, you heard Darren Eadie talking about Todd Cantwell, a player that we haven't seen much of in the Premier League this time around. He was brilliant for you a couple of years ago. Is that the kind of player that Dean Smith needs to get back on board?
Absolutely. I've talked about this on the program before. The exclusion of Todd Cantwell is very surprising, and he's one of the most creative and dynamic players out there. He's proven himself in the Premier League and the Championship, so his exclusion is shocking. Darren mentioned something about, maybe there's a certain type of player that Farke liked, and possibly Todd didn't fit that mold, which is, really surprising. Also, the not having Gilmore really play at all is really quite is shocking. You bring a guy on loan from Chelsea and you don't play him, it's really quite surprising. So I'm not sure what he's looking for, although in the little bit of time that I did see him play, he appeared to be like 80% offensive and 20% defensive. He seemed to be a defensive liability, which obviously was a problem with how the team was set up right now. But I'm very much looking forward to him bringing in Cantwell and Gilmore and anybody else from the academy who thinks is decent and, play attacking, fun, creative football.
So, Ken, obviously the window doesn't open until a few weeks' time when it opens in January. When I look at Norwich, and a little bit like Aston Villa, actually, I look at their centre-back pairings, and for me, I think that's the weakest area of Villa and Norwich at the same time. So, is it a case of when Dean Smith comes in now, working with the players, obviously, because he's got to do that, and improving Grant Hanley and Kabak, or is that your weakness where you think in January that might be an area where you need to strengthen?
There's always an area that needs to be strengthened defensively. They're very weak back there. They didn't really bring in anybody when they recruited, so it was kind of. Excuse me.
That is still Ken, by the way, behind that. I'm not sure what that is. Keep
yeah,
talking,
I don't know
Ken.
what that is either. I can see myself.
Could have been worse. It could have been the cat from a few years ago.
There we go. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, that wasn't me. Sorry. Can't play my computer here. Grant Hanley is fine, but they really need to bulk up what they had back there. Bring in Obamadelli in. I think he's done phenomenal. And Kabak, obviously, he's a heck of a player. I'm very surprised by his speed and his offensive capabilities. But still, they lack height. They get killed on the corner. Darren can probably talk more about what they need to do to improve that. But every time there's a corner, I cringe, thinking that they don't have the height, they don't have the toughness to defend that. So hopefully he can work on that. Maybe that's I don't know that much about his set piece defense that Dean Smith has worked on. Maybe that's an improvement. And by the way, me as an American, when I think of Dean Smith, I think of the legendary basketball coach in North Carolina, the guy who recruited Michael Jordan and others. So it's kind of interesting. So I'm looking forward to maybe our Dean Smith being a legendary manager for Norwich.
Yeah. In fact, only Norwich and Newcastle have conceded more than Aston Villa, and of course Dean Smith was there for all those 11 games, and the last one being that Southampton defeat. Darren, interesting listening to Ken there talk about potential new players coming in and so on. I know they've changed the model a little bit. They did spend a lot of that Buendia money. Do you think that Delia Smith and Stuart Webber, when they sit down, that they will go for it in January to try and give Dean a chance?
Yeah, I think just translating to Ken there about the defensive responsibilities, and he talked about the offensive quality of Kabak. I mean, there's your problem. He's a defender, first and foremost. He needs to do his job defensively, and he's so keen to get forward on the ball that sometimes he loses it in stupid areas. And it's those little things they've got to cut out of their game. But look, I would imagine there's going to be money in January. I'm sure Dean Smith knows he's going to have to wheel and deal, but they've got contacts. They've got, Craig Shakespeare's had a great time at Leicester. They know players all around the country, all around the world. So I don't think the recruitment is going to be a problem. It's getting the right type of player in that they need. And one thing that you can say about Norwich City, they've always backed their manager. They've always been honest with them to tell them in terms of their finances, where they can be, where they need to be, and what they're dealing with. But they've always been honest with them. So You know, Dean Smith knows that. Dean Smith knows what he'll potentially have in January, and he knows what he'll have to do. And it's then down to him to try and make that happen. But I'm just looking forward to see some better quality from the players we've got already, because I honestly don't believe we've seen the best of them. You know, Norman's been fantastic. I have to say he's been a great signing for us. But apart from that, everybody else just feels like they're just at 80% at the moment, not quite at the best.
Darren, how's Max Aaron's been this season?
It's okay. Look, Max it's a confusing one for me because he's such a talented player, and for me, Max is very, very good in between each box. I think sometimes he can be left wanting defending. I think that's because he's still young and he's still learning the game. Like any defender or fullback nowadays, they like to get forward. So I think sometimes his defending can be a little bit questionable. And also when he gets into the final third, I think he can do better with his final delivery and his assists. So he's brilliant in between boxes. And you know, people can say, you know, maybe criticise me for saying those type of things, but there's a reason he's still at the football club. He's still at Norwich City. You know, been linked with lots of clubs before, but he's not moved on. So there's a reason why these clubs probably haven't taken a chance on him yet. And for me, it might just be that he's got the potential to do it, but his stats just need to get better in terms of defending and the attacking or his final product.
Yeah, a quick one from both of you before we let you go. One word answer, Ken. Will Norwich stay up under Dean Smith?
Yes.
Yes, it's a yes from Ken. Darren, are you matching a yes, or is it heart over head? Which way are you going?
Do you know what? I can't. It's really difficult because I believe the current squad they've got is a no. But if they improve it in January, which they've every chance to do, then I do believe they can. Yeah.
There we go. I think that was a no. Off the fence, he was saying no there, Darren. Current squad,
he's got hope. He's got
They
hope.
didn't give a one-word answer. I had a one-word answer.
But great to speak to both of you. That's Ken, who's a Norwich fan in the USA, and of course Darren Eadie, former Norwich City midfielder, over 200 appearances for the club in the Norwich City Hall of Fame as well. Let's move it on and talk about